Hello, and welcome to another episode of Chuchu Reviews, the show where I take 4 random, unrelated albums and I stick them in a blender, and then I review them, I rate them, and I rank them. Simplicity achieved. 3 of the records this week were pulled from the last episode's comment section, so if you have an album you want to see featured, why not drop a suggestion, and who knows, you might just get lucky. So let's introduce this week's combatants in alphabetical order. Firstly, we have the Ballad of Darren by the Britpop stalwarts Blur from 2023, which is my pick this week. Next we have Together Alone by the alt rock and pop act Crowded House from 1993, which was nominated by Sundry 3. Then we have The First of a Million Kisses by the Eddie Reader fronted Fairground Attraction from 1988, which was nominated by Stee. And lastly we have Barron von Tollbooth and the Chrome Nun by the Jefferson Airplane members Paul Kantner, Grace Slick and David Friedberg from 1973, which was nominated by Gary Gillum. So, now the battle lines have been drawn, let's be complete rankers and rank up a storm. This is Chuchu Reviews. So, coming in last place this week, we have Barron von Tollbooth and the Chrome Nun by Jefferson Airplane members Paul Kantner, Grace Slick and David Friedberg. But actually, all of the other contemporary members of Jefferson Airplane also play on this record, as well as some members of the future splinter band Jefferson Starship. Quite why they just didn't release this under the Jefferson Airplane moniker is a mystery. I mean, sure, the band was fracturing and tensions were high, but everyone is still here on this record. This is a Jefferson Airplane record in all but name. Anyway, this 1973 release sees a whole host of guest stars coming and going. David Crosby turns up here, the Pointer Sisters turn up there, you even have the Grateful Dead's Jerry Garcia playing lead guitar on most of the album. And it all adds up to a pretty rich and slickly produced brew. There's a decadent, dolorous feel to the soundscapes on this LP. And although it can't quite compete with Jefferson Airplane's very best work, it's still a darn good and nicely consistent record that gets progressively better as it goes on, with a lot of the best material weighted towards the end. Highlights include the opening, Ballad of the Chrome Nun, which is an easily enjoyable slice of 70s rock with some nice harmonised vocals and wah-wah soaked solos. Flowers of the Night has a thrusting march to its history-espousing stomp, as well as a kick-ass Jerry Garcia guitar solo. Your Mind Has Left Your Body is a great psychedelic stoner ballad with an ethereal vibe. The howling backing vocals are a really cool touch. Across the Board is an interesting track that feels like it's constantly gathering pace. Slick's intense vocals on it are pretty impressive, even though she disappointingly croons 7 inches of pleasure. No, it's 12 inches minimum, like it's the cunt smasher code. Harp Tree Lament is a beautiful choral piece with a swaying flightiness, while Sketches of China is a lovely closer with its dueling male-female vocals and jangly melodic balladry. So yeah, this is a really solid record of 1970s psychedelia-tinged rock. The one negative is that, whilst everything is good, it does lack that one truly killer song. This LP is just crying out for an obvious single, but like I said, this is still all universally good stuff. 4 stars. Next up, we have The First of a Million Kisses, which was the debut album by Fairground Attraction from 1988. And this album was a huge hit straight out of the gate, with its ubiquitous lead single Perfect smashing the number 1 spot on the UK singles chart, and the album itself going multi-platinum and winning the 1989 Brit Award for Best Album of the Year. Unfortunately, the relationship between singer Eddie Reader and songwriter Mark Nevin became fraught during the recording of their second album, which was eventually aborted, leaving Fairground Attraction with only one proper studio album to their name before their breakup in 1990. But the album they left behind is a beautiful blend of folk and lounge jazz with some world music elements creeping in around the edges, or as I personally like to call it, skiffle pop. But the elements combine wonderfully. Eddie Reader's pristine vocals, Simon Edwards' use of the guitar on Mexicano, which, for those of you now with a Metal Gear Solid style question mark floating above your head, is a kind of deep body bass guitar usually used by mariachi groups. Basically, it sounds just like an upright bass. While Mark Nevin, who wrote all but one of the songs here, has a delightfully wispy guitar style that's so fragile yet instantly distinctive. Plus, the dude made Kill Uncle with Morrissey, so you know, by default, he's my boy. Highlights on a universally pleasant LP include Moon on the Rain, which is wonderful with its subtle touches of accordion and harpsichord breezing behind Reader's wistful vocal lines. The Wind Knows My Name is a lovely waltz-time ballad that's so fragile that it feels like it might blow away like a leaf skeleton. Claire has a fun jazzy bop to it and some nice rampaging clarinet work. As much as clarinets can rage, I mean, no disrespect to clarinet players, my father was a clarinet player, but you rage about as hard as a Pokemon fanboy in an Irish bar fight. Sorry, Papa. The Moon Is Mine has a charming jazzy pizzazz to its cavorting marimbas. Perfect is a gorgeous iconic hit with its insanely catchy chorus and awesome rockabilly solo, while my personal favourite, Find My Love, has an immediately appealing flighty pop appeal with a cool guitar riff and Eddie Reader doing her best Morrissey impression near the end of the track. So yeah, this is a great lightweight pop album. If I did have one complaint, it would be that the style does play itself out by the end, and a couple of the late numbers such as Station Street or Whispers do enter into ignorable territory, but they're harmless and it's not enough to damage a pretty great record. 4 stars. Next up, we have the Ballad of Darren by Blur, which is the band's 9th LP and was released a scant few weeks ago in this, the year of our Lord Cunt Smasher, 2023. And this is the first Blur album for 8 years, and sees the band returning in a state of just abject misery. Like, Blur have always had a pretty solid emotional core to the music, but this LP takes it to another level, with Damon Albarn turning in the best set of lyrics that he's ever written. This album is almost universally about getting older and feeling lost in your middle age, dealing with that indefinable sadness that comes with the loss of your youth, and that moment when you realise that you just don't belong in a young man's world anymore. And yeah, I think that's exactly where Blur should be at this point in their career, and I think that this is exactly the type of the music that they should be making. And this is quite a valuable record that has a point to make and something soulful to say about life. And musically, this is a 36-minute set of resigned ballads, the weeping compositions of which perfectly complement Albarn's words. And a quick note on the brevity of the album, I think 36 minutes is the perfect length for this particular LP. I mean, if it was like 50 minutes, I could see this record becoming stodgy or overbearing, but the short runtime keeps the LP feeling crisp. Highlights on a pretty flawless record include everything, but my cherry picks would be the opener, the ballad, which kicks things off as they mean to continue with a swirl of pianos and heartfelt, sorrowful lyrics. St. Charles Square brings back a bit of old school Blur to the table, with its buzzing guitars and bouncing energy. Barbaric is amazing with its gorgeous arpeggiated coxswain riff and fantastic lyrics that sum up the general theme of the record. Russian Strings is swooningly beautiful, with its grandiose balladry amplified by Albarn's lyrics about war and how we just get numb to all this terrible violence. While The Narcissist is brilliant with its emotional stomp and absolutely killer chorus that instantly makes you want to sing along. So yeah, this is a superb and very timely album from Blur. Last year I did a full ranking of their records, and thinking back to it, I would say that the Ballad of Darren would slot in third onto that list, which means that it's very, very good indeed. 4.5 stars. So, the Chuchu Review's gold medal this week is going to go to Together Alone by The Beautiful South, where we find Paul Heaton in fine fettle. Oh no wait, it's actually by Crowded House. Hey, obscure references to things I said previously. I got 'em! So, this is the Australian/New Zealand band's 4th LP from 1993 and was the last of the band's original run, as they aborted a 5th album and instead disbanded in 1996, as frontman Neil Finn had become disillusioned with certain aspects of fame and working within the limitations of the band's format. But at least they're going out with a bang here, as this album is excellent, which was a huge surprise for me, as I had somehow come to the understanding that Crowded House were a bit of a crap band. I mean, I'm not quite sure how I came to that conclusion. Maybe I heard Don't Dream It's Over on the radio one too many times as a kid. Anyway, this album has cured me of that rampant misconception, as what we have here is a super consistent set of alt rock and pop songs with great melodies, instant choruses and sweeping emotions. Highlights in an album with very little in the way of downtime include a nicely emotive opener, Care Care, that immediately alerts you to the superior melodic sensibilities and gentle sadness that pervades the record. In My Command is a cool grungy rocker with an unexpected melodic sweetness in the chorus. Nails in My Feet is awesome with its weird off-kilter guitar solo and menacing pulse. Fingers of Love is a lovely atmospheric ballad with a... wait, what was that lyric? Fingers of love move down. Colour is its own reward. Is he singing about fingering a lass on the rag? Damn, that's some hardcore shit right there. That's cunt smasher shit. Locked Out is a raucous nugget of catchy power pop with a really cool guitar groove. Private Universe is a romantic and ethereal ballad with a tribal rhythm lurking underneath, while Distant Sun is a bouncing jangle pop tune with an alluring melody and an instant catchiness. So yeah, I'm just scratching the surface there. Tracks like Catherine Wheels with its blossoming chorus and the traditional Maori chants on the closer Together Alone are equally worthy of highlighting. The only track that falls short is the dated industrial beat flaunting Skin Feeling, which, to be honest, doesn't quite come together, but a solitary poor track is not enough to put a dent in what is otherwise a spectacular pop record. 5 stars. And that's it. That's another episode of Chuchu Reviews in the bag. But of course I know that's probably not how you'd rank these records, so why not sound off in the comments section and tell me which one would win for you. And maybe drop your own album nomination down there while you're at it. Make sure to like, share, subscribe and all that other kind of YouTube jazz. Make sure to take care of yourself, but most importantly, just keep on ranking.